The framework set is current and deliberate. Next.js, Nuxt, SvelteKit, React Router Framework Mode, and Tan Stack Start. Before we name the contenders, look at the products. The same brief can become two very different working surfaces. This is a 5-site full-stack comparison, and every screen comes from a real local application built under the same pressure. This is Marvijo software, and today Muse Spark 1.2 Contributor faces DeepSeek 4 Flash Vision across 5 full-stack websites. Before either model touched a file, I froze one shared contract. Real routes, real data, server validation, search, errors, and a responsive phone state. Round 1 is PulseDesk, an incident operations product built on Next.js with the same brief on both sides. The brief demands linked incidents and updates, full create, read, update, delete flows, filtering, validation, and 5 meaningful routes. The run is capped at 3 model prompts, and this trace is an editorial reconstruction of the retained event log, not live terminal footage. Both lanes reached a real incident list and a detail view, with searchable state, status tags, and a clear path from collection to record. The route set keeps going through creation, updates, and a status board. Then both products collapse into a usable phone layout. PulseDesk scores Muse Spark 9 out of 10 and DeepSeek 8 on evidence breadth, capture, interface quality, documents, and receipts. Round 2 moves to Recipe Atlas, a publishing workspace on Nuxt, where content structure matters as much as the landing page. Here, the model must connect recipes and ingredients, support complete editing flows, and keep collection, search, and detail states coherent. The retained traces show both isolated builds working through the same brief, with the prompt count and elapsed receipt kept beside the result. Recipe Atlas gives us list, create, detail, ingredient, and collection surfaces so we can compare information hierarchy instead of judging a single hero screen. The phone captures make the trade-off obvious. Spacing, form feedback, and empty states are part of full-stack quality, not decoration added at the end. Recipe Atlas lands at 9 for Muse Spark and 8 for DeepSeek, with the same evidence rubric applied to both products. Round 3 is PetPath, a veterinary care workspace on SvelteKit, built around pets, visits, and a care history. The shared pressure is now clinical. Linked records, safe validation, searchable care data, useful empty states, and a detail page that stays readable. Again, the coding picture is labeled as a reconstruction. While the browser captures below, it remained direct evidence from both local applications. Both PetPath builds expose the same useful journey, from the pet list to registration, the patient record, visits, and the care log. On the smaller frame, the comparison becomes practical. Can the user still find the primary action, read the record, and move back without losing context? PetPath scores 9 for Muse Spark and 8 for DeepSeek, keeping interface quality separate from the delivery receipt. Round 4 is StageCall, a theater production workspace on React Router Framework Mode, where schedules and queues must connect. The build must carry productions into a show call, support queue management, validate edits, and keep 5 routes tied to one production record. The 2 traces are comparable because the brief, workspace isolation, prompt cap, and validation pass stayed fixed across the round. StageCall moves from the production board to creation, detail, queues, and show call, with each surface revealing a different maintainability choice. The phone state is the final check. Dense operational information must become scannable without hiding the next action or the current production. StageCall scores 9 for Muse Spark and 8 for DeepSeek, with the visible products still judged against the same evidence rules. The final round is TrailStock, an outdoor inventory product on Tan Stack Start, with products, suppliers, and restock decisions in one flow. This last brief asks for linked inventory records, create and edit paths, filtering, validation, and a mobile surface that works in the field. DeepSeek's final model receipt is incomplete after 3 attempts, so the video shows that limit plainly instead of inventing a clean finish. TrailStock still gives us a complete visual comparison: inventory list, create flow, product detail, suppliers, and restock side by side. The independent build check also passed for this DeepSeek workspace, while the phone captures show the practical difference between a product and a product-shaped promise. TrailStock scores 5 for Muse Spark and 7 for DeepSeek. Muse's default browser screens earn 0 UI/UX points, while DeepSeek loses delivery points for the incomplete final receipt. Here's the uncomfortable part. A green build is not the same as a passing workflow. Independent builds passed 5 out of 5 for Muse Spark and 4 out of 5 for DeepSeek, while the frozen acceptance suite found a contract gap in every lane. That is why this episode keeps the failure evidence in frame alongside the screens that did work. Across this evidence set, Muse Spark totals 41 out of 50, DeepSeek totals 39, a 2-point lead. That is not a universal quality claim. It is the result of 5 matched products, captured screens, documented receipts, and 1 identical scoring rubric. If you want more software battles with the receipts left in, subscribe to Marvijo Software.